Don't let lightweight yarn stop your next project. Today I'll show you how to take any skein and turn it into thicker yarn simply by tripling the weight. No extra supplies needed. Hi, I'm Donna Wolfe from Naztazia. Today we're going to look at a technique called chain plying or Navajo plying, which is a total game changer for your stash. This helps in two ways. One, when you have a pattern and want something larger but don't want to have to change the pattern. Or when you have a pattern that calls for super bulky weight yarn but you only have a lightweight one.
To begin, I'm starting out with one skein, or in this case, one cake of yarn, and I'm pulling out several yards of yarn for this initial demonstration. The next step is to create a slip knot in the yarn, and this can be done using whatever method you are familiar with making a slip knot. Also, make sure that initial loop is large enough to fit the fingers inside the yarn. After placing the fingers inside of the yarn loop, reach in and pull that strand of yarn through, almost as if you were making a second chain with your fingers. But this time we are going to keep pulling and pulling to make that second loop rather long. And now, at least for this demonstration, I'm going back to the tail end and slip knot and straightening out the yarn so that it can be easily worked with going forward. I only advise doing this when you are first starting out. Once you know how to do this chain plying method, the straightening out part isn't necessary to combine the 3 strands of yarn together. Next, go back to the slip knot again, and this time, using the combined 3 strands of yarn, make a slip knot again. This is the actual slip knot that can be used to start a crochet project or knitting project or even Tunisian crochet project. In this case, I'm starting out by making a regular chain in crochet, and as you can see, I have run out of the 3 strands of yarn. I'm back to a small loop and a single strand of yarn and can't crochet any further. To fix this, I place my fingers in the yarn loop again and pull through the single strand of yarn, forming yet another chain loop. And as before, I'm going to keep pulling this loop for several yards so that I have a sufficient amount of 3 strands of yarn for my project. There is no suggested size of this loop. If your yarn can support it, make it as long as possible so you don't have to keep stopping and creating another loop to create the 3 strands of yarn. Here are my single crochet stitches made with 3 strands of yarn from one yarn cake. And as mentioned before, this chain plying method can also be used with knitting. Treat the 3 strands of this medium-sized yarn as you would a super bulky yarn. Or if you only have access to fine yarn, this is a great way to make the medium-sized yarn shown in most of the tutorials these days.
It's worth noting you can work with 3 separate strands from 3 different yarn skeins, but I find working from one is much easier. So after you've tried it, please let me know what you think of chain plying.